Jenny Fink, Independent Journal Review. 6 million. 6 million is nearly the population of Colorado, 6 million miles is 241 trips around the Earth, and 6 million minutes is 11 years. 6 million is more commonly known as the amount of Jews who perished in the Holocaust. Despite 25 years of breaking fast on Yom Kippur, lighting candles on Hanukkah, and Passover Seders, the weight of that number is one I didn't truly grasp until June 2016. My father is Jewish, and my mother is Christian, which for some is a complicated dichotomy, but for me, it's always been the two halves that make me whole. Admittedly, and in reflection, ashamedly, there were times growing up that I shied away from my Jewish side for the mere fact it is often easier to cling to similarities than be proud of differences. At times, I even resented it. For anyone who isn't Jewish, here's a brief summation of the high holidays. There are a lot of them. They tend to last anywhere between 2 and 6 hours and often fall on a Friday night. So, the Jewish calendar does not always match the social calendar of a teenage girl. But, I digress. In June 2016, I ventured to Israel on Birthright, which, for all the Gentiles out there, is a 10-day, all-expenses-paid trip. It was exactly what you'd think a free trip would be: wonderful. We rafted down the Jordan River, wandered the streets of Jerusalem, and saw the sunrise after hiking Masada. One day, we went to Yad Vashem. You read the stories, you see the photos, and the horrors of those years starts to set in. The museum is purposefully cold, and it's purposefully dark, which is an accurate depiction of how you will feel as you leave. In June, it's also a sharp contrast from the glaring Israeli sun, which will burn your skin and do nothing to warm the ice that frost formed around your soul. Afterward, our group sat outside and discussed what we'd seen and what it meant to us. What did it mean to see photos of innocent people degraded and murdered for no other reason than the religion they practiced? Just by calling them people is to defy Nazi logic. To their murderers, they didn't die as people. They were vermin. They were pigs. They were a number. They were Jews, which were not humans, not to their murderers. Again, I digress. While in the museum, I asked our tour guide about the percentage of European Jews who were killed. I tried to put 6 million into perspective. She said, 2/3. I was, for one of the first times in my life, speechless. Call me naive, call me ignorant, but for some reason, 2/3 hit me harder than 6 million ever has. 2/3. Take a minute and think about your family and then divide it into 2/3 and picture life without them. Think about your friends, and do the same. Your co-workers, the people you pass on the street, the people you've dated. All subtracted by 2/3. Me, that would be giving up both my sisters and one of my parents. As I sat outside on a grassy knoll under the summer sun, in a circle made up of 42 American Jews, 6 Israeli defense soldiers, and an Israeli tour guide, I was overcome with one of the most significant revelations of my life. Half Jewish, fully Jewish, it didn't matter. 2/3 of a religion was wiped out, and yet, here we were, sitting in the open air enjoying a vacation. Enjoying our freedom. And we were only one group of thousands. Even after over half a century, the likelihood we were all alive in that moment seemed to be nothing short of a miracle. In that moment, I realized the responsibility that was on my shoulders. Growing up, I went to church with Mom, and in 2015, I was baptized. When someone felt they were owed an explanation as to why I identify as both Christian and Jewish, I told them I consider myself Christian by religion and Jewish by heritage. Still, I always hoped I would marry someone Jewish so I could pass on the traditions. I wanted my future kids to know that part of me, and I liked the idea of them having the same upbringing as I did. To be welcomed to the kitchen on a cold winter's night to the smell of latkes frying. To sit at a Seder table and be mesmerized by the hauntingly beautiful sound of their aunt singing, Eliyahu Hanavi. And to be reminded by their father to always have hope because the underdog can win. However, I didn't feel like I was, for lack of a better word, Jewish enough to take on that task without someone who only considers himself Jewish by my side. But, sitting on that knoll, I realized I don't need to marry someone Jewish because those traditions live in me. Not only am I able to pass it down on my own, if I have kids, it will be my responsibility, not my privilege, to teach them about my Jewish heritage. To mark every holiday, whether it's a crazy work week or I have a teenager who would rather attend a Sweet 16 than participate in a 6-hour Passover Seder that requires one to stomach gefilte fish and eat salt-dipped parsley. On this day, exactly 73 years after Auschwitz-Birkenau was liberated, the full weight of being Jewish bears down on my shoulders. It is also not lost on me the significance of being able to publicly declare that and share my story on a day when decades ago, the goal was that I would not be here to do so. And for those of you who don't believe Judaism is a heritage and is only a religion, I suggest you take that up with genetic testing because, according to a recent DNA test, my father is over 98% Ashkenazi Jew. For a third time, I digress. After my birthright group debriefed our visit, we played a game, which I hear is often used at summer camps, although I can't verify that because I'm only half Jewish and never went. Why did we do it? Maybe it was to bring us out of the mourning Yad Vashem inherently brings. Maybe it was because we needed to bond. Maybe they wanted us to have a good time and brag about it to our friends. That's a question you'll have to ask the organizers. But for me, we did it because we could. Because despite almost inconceivable suffering and near annihilation, after all these years, we were here. And if I have kids, they will be here, too. If you're going through a tough time losing a loved one, just listen to Lady Gaga's Grammy perform. Please note this is a commentary piece. The views and opinions expressed within it are those of the author only and do not necessarily reflect the editorial opinion of IJR.